Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Will you give me that? Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we'll continue our series, which is known as what do you call it? Sadhana to Saadhya. We discussed in the morning about just introduction from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that the Paribhasa Sutra of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nyamlasata Sunyam, like that. And the four divisions: Samanya Bhakti, Sadhana Bhakti, then Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti. So today we will see what is Sadhana Bhakti. So if you have some gadgets, you can open the definition of Sadhana Bhakti, or is there in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 22, text 105. If you have, you can. So what is Sadhana Bhakti? This is a very famous verse you have heard many times. Okay, we'll start. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhavasa sadhana vidha nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam hridi sadhyata kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhava sa sadhana vidha nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam hridi sadhyata. So the meaning is, first word is kriti sadhya. Kriti means senses, which is to be executed by the senses. Kriti sadhyas. Very easy to understand. We have our senses: eyes, nose, ears, tongue, pancha jnanendriya and karmendriya. Okay? So these are kriti. By these senses, which is to be executed by the senses. Okay? And then bhavet. By executing any activity, we generally execute by the senses only. Executing by the senses, our goal should be, see, kriti sadhya bhavet means it should be sadhya bhava. Okay, so we all execute our senses through our ear, through our eyes, through our nose, isn't it? We all engage our senses. Even while practicing any kind of devotional service, we engage our senses through our eyes, ear, nose, hands, legs. All our senses should be engaged in the service of the Lord. The goal, we should not forget, the goal should be to attain bhava. Then only it will be called sadhana bhakti. Now, engaging our senses, we are also engaging our senses to attain some position. Engaging our senses to attain to get some remuneration. Engaging our senses to some adoration, some varieties of profit. Engaging our senses to show off. Engaging our senses to become president. Engaging our senses to become a GBC member. Engaging our senses to become a millionaire, engaging our senses, dash, 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 dash. And we are engaging our senses, isn't it? We are engaging our senses. But the goal is something different than bhava bhakti. Then that is not sadhana bhakti. So precise definition, isn't it? The first line. Therefore it is clearly said, first two line of the verse, kriti sadhya, bhavet sadhya, bhava, bhavet sadhya bhava, sa sadhana vidha. And that is called sadhana bhakti. So many examples I said, engaging our sense to attain this, that, so many. So if you are engaging our senses to attain something other than bhava bhakti, then that is not sadhana bhakti. My dear devotees, we are not doing sadhana bhakti then. From the definition it is clear. We are engaging our senses. Our goal, our target should be to attain bhava bhakti. Then that is called sadhana bhakti. If it is not bhava to attain, if it is not to attain bhava, then that bhakti, I don't know what bhakti will call. But according to the definition, sadhana bhakti means this one. And then he says, nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakatyam hridi sadhyata. So this, such devotion, nitya siddha, it is eternally exists within us, within the heart of every living being. And prakatyam hridi sadhyata, the awakening of this eternal devotion is potentially devotional, but means prakatyam. Prakatya means, you know what? In Sanskrit it said prakatya means awakening. Achieved, attained from outside. Not. Try to understand. This bhava bhakti is awakened. It's not attained or achieved from somewhere. From the supermarket of South Bangalore. Not attained or achieved from somewhere outside. It is within everyone. One has to awaken. And the process is sadhana bhakti. The bhava is within everyone. It has to be awakened. It is not to attained or achieved. It has to be awakened. So therefore prakatyam. And please raise your hand. How many of you have read NOD? Bhakti Rasamachandra, must have read. So if you remember your Bhakti Shastri days. In NOD, Prabhupada gives a suitable example to explain this verse. It is not achieved or attained from outside. It is within everyone. It has to be awakened. Just like, please try to recollect. Any example Prabhupada has given? And it's there in NOD book. I'll give you a clue. This is Damodar. What is younger one? Is there? Is not here. Okay. No problem. Damodar, Prabhu, stand up.
Who is covered?
Bolo. No. He will tell. Yes, hold it. How old are you? How young are you?
I'm 8 years.
8 years. So when you were 1 year old, remember when you were 1 year, you are able to walk.
Yeah.
When did you start walking? You ask your parents. Ask them. After 18 months. Okay. You cannot walk within 8 months. 8 month or 1 year child, it's difficult to walk. You can stand, but it's difficult to walk. Then how did you learn walking? Do you remember? How did you learn walking? You don't remember, no? Your parents will tell you. We're falling out. We're repeatedly falling down. And mother and father, they will catch your hand. Okay, get up, Damodar, get up. Like that, they do. And there is some cycle kind of thing. Sometimes they hold it and they start walking, learning. So it is the okay. Thank you, Damodar. Now you can recollect the example from this, isn't it? The capacity of walking was there in the child. Is, है ना? Yes. Yeah. Potentially he can walk. It's there. The capacity, the strength is there. Nothing has to attain from outside. Only through some practice with the help of the parents and some vehicle, some cycle kind of thing, the children, they start walking. So it's there within. Yes? This example Prabhupada has given. Devo. So, dear devotees, so in the same way, do you understand this example? In the same way, Bhava Bhakti is there within every living entity. Why? Because we are the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. We may be Tatastha Shakti, but we are the part and parcel of the Lord. It's there. So it has to be awakened through such seminar, through Bhakti Shastra study, through devotional service. It has to be awakened. So therefore, in this verse and next verse, he said, Kriti Saadhya Bhavet Sadhya. After that, he says, Sravana Dikriyatara Swarupa Lakshana Tatastha Lakshane Upajaya Prema Dhana. So in the spiritual activities of hearing, chanting and remembering and so forth are the natural characteristics of devotional service. To awaken Bhava Bhakti, the hearing, chanting, remembering and so forth, they are the natural characteristics. They are the Swarupa Lakshana. And the marginal characteristic is to awaken the pure love of Krishna. So the Navada Bhakti, Sravana Kriya, they are the prime activities. Then the famous verse, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunaya Sravanadi Suddha Chitte Karoye Uddaya. So this is the Bengali payar of the verse which we recited in Sanskrit. Kriti Sadhya Bhavet Sadhya. That is Sanskrit. And this is the Bengali one. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of living entity. It is not something to be gained from another source when the heart is purified by hearing and chanting. This love awakens. Now, so he says, Eita sadhana bhakti duita prakar ekavaidi bhakti raganuga bhaktiyar. So this, there are two processes of practical devotional service. One is regulative devotional service and the other is spontaneous devotional service. One is called Vaidhi Bhakti, another is called Raganuga Bhakti. Raga vina jana bhaje, raga hina jana bhaje shastre ragyaya Vaidhi Bhakti balitare sarva shastre gaya. Raga hina. So what is Vaidhi Bhakti? He says, Raga hina jana bhaje shastre ragyaya. When there is no raga, what is the raga? Attachment. है ना? Attachment. Intense attachment. Where there is no raga, where there is no attachment, but we practice bhakti by what? Shastra Agya, means? By the order of the Shastra and the spiritual master. So that is called Vaidhi Bhakti. Tare Sarva Shastre Gaya. So in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually he explains to Rupa Goswami, and Rupa Goswami he explained in the Bhakti Rasama Sindhu. So, and you know, Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is the most important factor in practicing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti is dash, is Shastra Agya, by the order of the Shastra and the spiritual master. That is the key point of practicing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. And in NOD, you must have read, so many types of by the sadhana bhakti Rupa Goswami explains. Like one or two you say, Ado Guru Padasraya, Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam, Vishrambena Guru Seva, like that it starts. So accepting the spiritual master, rendering service to him, taking initiation from him and taking Shiksha also, Shiksha and Diksha from him. In this way, how many types Rupa Goswami explained? 64. And while explaining in this way, 64 types of bhakti, at the end he explains the 5 most important limbs of bhakti. And that is, Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtana, boliye? Bhagavata Shravana, Mathura Vasa Sri Murtira, Shraddhaya Sevana. So one should associate to the devotee. Sadhu Sangha is A for association, B for book reading, we say. Sadhu Sangha, chanting the holy name, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, residing Mathura Dham, and deity worship. Then he says, Sakala sadhana srestha, Ei pancha anga, Krishna prema janmaya, Ei panchera alpa sangha. These 5 limbs of devotional service are the best of all. In Vrindavan, I live there, so I hear from other devotees, like there is a very famous sadhu, Radha Raman Mandir, Shivacha Goswami and Pundari Goswami. So anytime they give some katha, they explain, they emphasize, Panchanga Bhakti karo, Panchanga Bhakti is sarvashrestha, like that they say. So this is called Panchanga Bhakti. We have to be more focused on these 5 limbs of bhakti. Therefore, Sakala sadhana srestha I panchanga. These 5 limbs of bhakti are the best of all. Krishna prema janmaya ei pancher alpasang. Even a slight performance, love of Krishna can be awakened. Of these 5, awakens love for Krishna. Shraddha Vishesata Priti Sri Murtirangri Sevana. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is actually Mahaprabhu only explains to Rupa Goswami, to Sanatana Goswami, this is Sanatana Shiksha. With love and full faith, one should worship the lotus feet of the deity. One by one, he explains about the Panchanga. 132, in the text 132, Nama Sankirtanam Sriman Mathura Mandale Sthiti. So all these 5 important limbs of bhakti, it says that, so wonderful verse. It says that just by associating with these 5 important limbs of bhakti, even a little, one can awaken Krishna prema, love of God, but doesn't happen. Even what to speak a little bit, we are doing rigorously, but it doesn't happen. The reason is in text 133. There is a word in the text 133. Please tell me, why it doesn't happen? Why? Offenses. So he said, what is that? Sadhya. Bolo? You tell in so many times that you will remember this word. Sadhya. Sadhyan. Loudly. Sadhyan. Sadhyan. So, duruha dhuta viryasmin Shraddha durestu panchake yatra su alpopi sambandha sadhyam bhava janmane. The power of these five principles is very wonderful and difficult to understand. Even without faith in them, a person who is offenseless can awaken his dormant love for Krishna simply by being a little connected with them. Little connection, it can be awakened, but the problem is, this word we have to remember it and okay, you have to remember it. Sadhya. Everything गाड़ी अटक जाती है नहीं? All our vehicle of devotional service, it stops here only. Sadhya. We practice all 64 limbs of bhakti, and we focus also 5 important limbs of bhakti, but it doesn't happen so quickly as per the verse says. But here because of the sadhyam, the love of God doesn't awaken so quickly. The dormant love of Krishna is simply being little connected with Krishna. एक अंग साधे केहो साधे बहु अंग निष्ठा होइले उपजाय प्रेमेर तरंग. When one is firmly fixed in devotional service, whether he executes one or many processes of devotional service, the waves of love of God will awaken. Prabhu,
I think you can do one thing that is not possible. You saw the verse.
oh, here we go.
This is the
Yes, find out. So what he says, when one is simply fixed in devotional service, whether he executes one or many processes of devotional service, the waves of love of God will awaken. एक अंगे सिद्धि पाइला बहु भक्त गण अम्बरेशा आदि भक्तर एई बहु अंग sadhana. It's easy to understand Bengali. Some devotee, they got perfection by executing one limb of devotional service, and Ambarish Maharaj, he executed many. So what we are discussing, this everything we are discussing of Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Then in text 142, it says, विधि साधना छाड़ी भजे कृष्णेर चरण. 142, Madhula chapter 2, text 142. विधि धर्म छाड़ी भजे कृष्णेर चरण निषिद्ध पापाचारे तार कभु नहि मन. So it says vidhi dharma chadi. Vidhi dharma chadi means to practice bhakti, generally we do follow varnashram dharma. So he says, although the pure devotee sometimes doesn't follow all the regulative principle of varnashram, very strictly doesn't follow all the varnashram dharma, regulative principle of varnashram dharma, but he worships lotus feet of Krishna. Vidhi dharma chhadi bhaje Krishnara charana. Very important to understand. He worships Krishna's lotus feet, means he does Navada Bhakti, he does Vaidhi Bhakti, but he may not follow all the rules of varnashram dharma. Then what happens? Nisiddha papachare tarak kabhu nahe mana. He worships lotus, therefore he naturally has no tendency to commit sin. By practicing regulative principle of bhakti, Vaidhi Bhakti, one will not commit sin. Why? Because Prabhupada writes here, The Varnashram institution is planned in such a way that one will not commit sinful activities. Material existence continues due to sinful activity. When one acts sinfully in this life, he gets a suitable body for the next life. When one again acts sinfully, he takes to another material body. So the point here is that we sincerely practice regulative principles of devotional service. That means Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. Therefore, we don't commit sin. For regulative principle, we do follow. But now what I say is very important. If one does commit, then what? Isn't it? So, here it is said that Vidhi dharma chhadi, Prabhu, just show the verse. Otherwise, they are not able to pay attention. Just show the verse. Yeah, 142. So that they can focus on the explanation. Vidhi dharma chhadi, it is said that by practicing regulative principle of bhakti, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, generally one will not commit any sin, or because he follows the regulative principles. But if someone sincerely practices devotional service bhakti, if one does some mistake, if one breaks some principle, then what happened? What atonement is there? Mahaprabhu says, means Kaviraj Goswami explains, Ajnanena hoya jadi papa upasthita. Next verse. Ajnane ba hoya jadi papa upasthita. Krishna tare suddha kare na karaye prayaschita. So he says Ajnane. Ajnane means out by ignorance, accidentally. Sometimes we see because of some situation or provoking situation or we accidentally do commit some mistake. Devotee, they do commit some mistake. It happens. Means any kind of breaking of the regulative principle. It happens with the devotees. You all can understand. Knowingly, unknowingly, some mistake we commit. Yes? Then, for that, the atonement is what? Ajnane va hoya jadi papa upasthita. If accidentally a devotee becomes involved in sinful activities, Krishna tare suddha kare na karaye prayaschita. Krishna suddha kare. Krishna purifies him. He doesn't have to undergo the regulative form of atonement. So, how Krishna purifies one? If some devotee commits some mistake, knowingly, unknowingly, accidentally breaks the principle, how Krishna purifies that devotee? 144. Huh? Accidentally. Yeah, accidentally. Not knowingly, accidentally. Yes. Ajnane. So accidentally, if he commits some mistake, then he says, Swapadamulam bhajata priyasya Tyakta bhavasya hari paresa Vikarma yachot patitam kathanchit Dhunoti sarvam hridi sannivishtaha. Swapadamulam bhajata priyasya. One who has given up everything and taken shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Hari. Like we all are practicing sadhakas, practicing devotees. We have taken shelter of Lord Hari and we are doing sadhana bhakti. He is very dear to Krishna. If he is involved in some sinful activity by accident, This word is very important, by accident, not planned or knowingly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is seated within everyone's heart, removes his sins without difficulty. That means the same process, process of practicing sadhana bhakti, it itself purifies the sadhaka. In a very remorse mood, very guilty feeling, if we practice bhakti, then the power of sadhana bhakti is that it purifies the heart. Long back, I used to hear from Radheshyam Prabhu, he always tells this principle, R. First, he says that realize, isn't it? Realize. Then he says realize, first is realize, and then repent, and then rectify and reinstate. Right? We used to hear it those days. First, a person has to realize some mistake has been done. There itself the atonement starts. Has to realize the mistake, if anything happens. Then repent. It's in mental platform. Regret, repent. Rectify. It's action platform. First mental, then action. Rectify means now a person is going to do some action. Not to commit the mistake again. Any kind of mistake. And reinstate. Firmly fixed in his swarupa, in his position, in his service, that he will not commit mistake again. He does some extra activities or some precautions, he will not do the mistake again. Do you understand? Any doubt? Please raise your hand. Do you understand this? First is realize, then regret or repent in the mind, then rectify. You take some devotees, they chant some extra round because the mistake has been done, or they do some Giriraj Parikrama, Vrindavan Parikrama. I have seen devotees in Vrindavan, Giriraj Parikrama, do the Dandavati Parikrama. See, one personal experience I will tell you, if we become weak in spiritual life, if we become weak in practicing sadhana, the one plus point who are staying in Dham, I have seen, even personal experience, is that if we do parikrama, Giriraj Parikrama or Vrindavan Parikrama, we regain the strength. Sometime if we commit some mistake, some Vaishnava aparadh or some sinful act, something, if it happens, what to do? Because we are practicing sadhana bhakti, we cannot do any other type of attachment. So devotee, they do some special tapasya by doing Giriraj Parikrama or Vrindavan Parikrama, or engage yourself in some Brajamandal Parikrama. This dham has so power. Once we do Giriraj Parikrama or Vrindavan Parikrama, we regain our strength and we start, we reinstate ourselves. Again we start practicing spiritual life as usual we used to do before. This is the power of doing some austerity, some tapasya in dham. Many senior devotees in our movement, mistake has been happened. There was one very senior pujari in Mayapur Dham. Something happened to his spiritual life, some problem happened in his spiritual life. And then he came, he changed his cloth actually. He was a saffron devotee, he changed his cloth. The management told him to change the cloth, and he humbly accepted that. And remember, he came and did Brajamandal Parikrama along with all of us. I was also doing, fortunately, that time when Brajamandal Parikrama was in 25th of celebration, Silver Jubilee celebration. in 2011. And that Prabhu, that devotee, he did Brajamandal Parikrama. And after some period of time, after 6 months, the management again told him to regain your cloth, retake. So he took again suffer. Why? The point here is that when you do Navadip Parikrama or Brajamandal Parikrama or Giriraj Parikrama or Vrindavan Parikrama, it gives you the place has some very potency. The place, the dham gives you the strength. You regain the strength to practice spirituality again with full pledge, with same enthusiasm, so with same utsaha. So the practice itself, the sadhana bhakti practice, doing some extra tapasya, we regain our strength. Only thing is that we have to take care of, it should not happen seventh offense. That means, what is there in Padma Purana? Let me remember. Namno balad hi papa yasya buddhi. We do commit some sin and we think that, okay, so I'll do one Giriraj Parikrama or I'll do Vrindavan Parikrama, I'll chant some extra round. Definitely it will has his effect. It will have its effect. But if we do intentionally again and again and thinking that one Giriraj Parikrama will nullify my sin, and then after month or 2 or 6 months again we will do the same, then it becomes aparad, seventh offense. Namno balad yasya papa buddhi. Right? But while practicing devotional service, we take all precautions. Even while taking precautions, if something happens accidentally and we are very much remorse, we very much sorry for that, then it's good to do some parikrama or do some, chant some extra round, some extra tapasya, like that. So sadhana bhakti has the power to purify the sadhaka. So these are all by the sadhana bhakti. Now our topic is, now it starts. So 5 minutes more. It's over actual time. So it was text 149, Prabhu. (148), he says, now we'll move ahead from Vaidhi Bhakti to Raga. We'll try to discuss what is Raga Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti sadhanera kailu vivarana Raganuga Bhaktira Lakshana Sunasanatana. So far I have explained the Vaidhi Bhakti, the Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. Now you try to listen what is Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti. You remember this morning we discussed that only by practicing Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti we can attain the pure love of God. We can attain the Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan. So before Raganuga, we have to understand what is called Raga and what is called Ragatmika. Then we will understand Raganuga. Ragatmika Bhakti Mukhya Brajavasi Jane Tara Anugata Bhakti Raganuga Name. Ragatmika Bhakti Mukhya Brajavasi Jane. The original inhabitants of Vrindavan are attached to Krishna spontaneously in devotional service. Nothing can compare to such spontaneous devotional service, which is called Ragatmika Bhakti. When a devotee follows in the footsteps of the devotees of Vrindavan, his service, devotional service, called Raganuga Bhakti. So, we'll discuss it. First, we have to understand what is called raga and then ragatmika. So, we should understand that Mahaprabhu is explaining this. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, the transcendental associates of Vrindavan, Brajavasi, what they have, the spontaneous attraction towards Krishna, that is called ragatmika. Please don't get confused. Therefore, I said, I was discussing with Prabhuji this morning that there is some correction is required in the NOD book. Is in chapter 18, chapter 16, ragatmika definition is there in NOD book. Actually, it's little bit mistake is there. Raganuga and ragatmika is explained in one way only. Again, I am repeating. The inhabitants of Vrindavan, which are attached to Krishna spontaneously, their devotion towards Krishna is called ragatmika. No you, me, any tatastha sakti, jiva, ordinary living entity can have this. This is not attainable. This is exclusive for the eternal associates of the Lord in Vrindavan. Then what is raga? He says next, Ishte swarasiki ragaha paramabhishtata bhavet tanmayi ya bhavet bhakti satra ragatmiko dita. So, what is raga? Ishte. In general understanding, the meaning is ishte. Ishte means onto the desired object. For me, for anyone, ishte may be this one. Anything can be ishte. The gadgets or bolo. The food ishte. Ishte means one who was the desired object of life. We are now understanding the meaning of the word raga. Ishte. Ishte means with iPhone 15 Pro Plus. Ishte. Or iPad. Or for a boy, young boy, a young girl, for a young girl, a young boy, ishte. For husband, wife, and for wife and husband. Or for parents, for children, the parents, ishte. Or some job or some career or some position, whatever may happen, I will never give up the ishte, that is my kursi, my chair, means my position. That might be ishte. So ishte is different for the different person. Okay, all of you are getting? We are in general we are discussing the word raga. पहले राग क्या समझते हैं, उसके बाद रागात्मिका. For any object or any person, we have intense attachments. That's called raga. जिसके बिना रहा नहीं जाता है. Early morning we get up first. This our eyesight. First darshan. It goes. We take up that. We think of someone where our mind goes, our attachment. We think of wherever we may be, with some person, with some object. So that is called ishte. Swarasiki. अपने रस के अनुसार, appropriate for one's own original aptitude of love. Swarasiki. So this swarasiki is different from me, you, he, she, everyone. Your rasa is different. His rasa is different. His rasa is different. Everyone's rasa is different. Isn't it? Someone may like dahi vendi. That's his rasa is different. Someone is very fond of World Cup. His rasa is different. Someone they don't know. For them, this cricket is not existing only. Somehow they are not attracted. They are attracted to Ram Mandir. maybe some issue. So, swarasa ki, apne rasa ke anusar, according to one's own rasa, one is spontaneously attracted to either object or person. That is called rasa. But then he says, parama avishtata, absorption in that attachment, that intense raga, intense attachment, instead of any material object or person or post position, when it dovetailed to Supreme Lord, parama abhishtata, absorption in service of the Lord, bhavet, then tanmai, consisting of that transcendental attachment, that bhakti is called ragatmika bhakti, spontaneous devotional service. That means in Bengali, Kaviraj Goswami says, 151, Ishte gada trishna ragar sarupa lakshana, Ishte abhishtata ei tatastha lakshana. Gada trishna. What is the meaning of trishna? Hankering. Here Prabhupada writes attachment. Gada trishna means deep attachment. Okay. Gada trishna means deep attachment. Achha, next verse here. Trishna means hankering. And Gada trishna means deep attachment. Deep attachment to someone. Swam Prakash, for any example? Deep attachment. Gada trishna. We are explaining now, we are discussing the word raga. Any example? Huh? For sleeping. Yeah? Someone is too attached to sleep. He likes sleeping. Yuvatinam yatha yunam. In that verse also, Gada trishna. Just like a young boy has deep attachments towards a young girl. A man is attached to a woman. Someone is attached to nation. Someone is attached to election. Someone is attached to position. Someone is attached to some gadgets. Deep attachment. That means जिसके बिना रहा नहीं जाए. जीना तो क्या जीना? उसके बाद यूं जाने. तेरे बिना. Mobile बिना और this बिना और that बिना, he बिना, she बिना, that बिना, this, everything. That's called ishte, gada trishna. So that deep attachment means moment by moment you remember, you just cannot forget. When will I see you? When will I get? When will I meet? When will I talk? Such Gada trishna. When every moment we remember. That is called Sarupa Lakshana. For anything and anyone, any object, but that if we discuss in devotional scenario towards the Lord, Ishte Gada trishna rager Sarupa Lakshana, Ishte abhishtata. Now, abhishtata means what? Absorption. See, sometimes, I'm sorry to say, English words are not exact translation of the Sanskrit. Now let me, Hindi is very close to Sanskrit. Let me explain what is called avishta. See, you know this word pravesa. Another word is called avesa. Okay. So vesa means not decoration, that is also vesa. Vesa means enter. Pravesa means prakrushta rupena vesa, pravesa. Deeply entered. Okay. In the same way, now we discuss the word abhisa. Vesa means entered. And avesa means very deeply entered. So that's called abhishtata. Means जैसे कहते हैं ना आवेश हो गया. Sometime some say some भूत प्रेत का आवेश हो जाता. Like that. If someone is doing enacting some pastime, that Lord Ram avesa, Nrsimha avesa to that person. It happens sometime while doing some drama or acting. That's called abhishta. So Gada trishna, see, we are now going towards Raganuga Bhakti. Therefore, we have to pay very high attention because our goal is to go Krishna Loka Golok Vrindavan. So now it's the starting, first step. We are understanding what is called raga, then ragatmika, and then we will see raganuga. And practice is different, we will see tomorrow. First we have to understand it. So, when we deeply absorb, deep attachment towards, for in our case, it should be towards Krishna, right? Krishna and his devotees and Dhama. Krishna and Tadya. Okay? So, our deep attachment should be towards Krishna and Tadya. Tadya, understand, no? Paraphernalia. Krishna's devotee, Krishna's Dham, Krishna's Nama, Krishna's Leela, Krishna's book, all the Krishna's service, everything is. So, that is deep attachment towards that. That is the Swarupa Lakshana, primary characteristics. And deep absorption, abhishtata means itna dhas gaye. In Hindi it called dhas jana. मतलब अंदर प्रवेश कर जाना. Something which is entered deeply inside the heart. So that is called abhishtata. Iste abhishtata. A tatastha lakshan. So, I'll give you one example. How you can understand it, and then we'll conclude. There was one devotee in Govardhan, Pushti Marg, Vallabha Sampradaya devotee. His name was Chaturbhuj Das. Even now, if you come sometime to Govardhan, where our ISKCON Bhagavad Mahavidyalaya is there, behind that Bhagavad Mahavidyalaya, just 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, you go, there is a place called known as Chandra Sarovar. So the Chandra Sarovar is the place where Radha Krishna performed Rasa dance on Kartik Purnima. Sarat Purnima they did in Vansivat. Krishna played the flute, the gopis came. And then the Kartik month starts, yes. And then the Kartik Purnima, Krishna again performed Rasa dance in Chandra Sarovar. Very beautiful and scenic place. Looks very beautiful. The Sarovar, the pond or Sarovar, lake, is formed like a moon. 8, we call rectangular, hexagon, octagon type of that. So like moon has moon shape. So there the 8 prominent devotees, disciples of Gosainji. Gosainji means Ballavacharya and his son Vithalnath. Ballavacharya is the father. What we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ballava Bhatta meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ballava Bhatta meeting Rupa Goswami. You remember? So that is the father. And he had 2 sons. And one, the elder son was Vithalnath. And Vithalnath popularly became Ballavacharya. Wherever in Vrindavan or Govardhan area you see Mahaprabhu ki Vaithak, you have seen this written Mahaprabhu ki Vaithak. That is actually Ballavacharya, the Vithalnath. So the father Ballavacharya, he had 4 prominent disciples, and the son Vithalnath, who became known as Ballavacharya, he had another 4 prominent disciples. So one of them is Chaturbhuj Das. Now this Chaturbhuj Das was in Govardhan. So please try to understand. We are discussing the word Iste Gadha Trishna, means deep attachment and deep absorption. How it happens to a devotee, just see. Hari Hari. Please listen. So his guru, means Vithalnath Gosainji, once he came to Chaturbhuj Das, he said, my dear devotee, my dear Prabhu, let us go to Dwarika. Okay? Why? Because the people, the devotees of Dwarka have invited, and let us go. Since many days and years, we have not gone to Dwarka to visit. Let us go. But Chaturbhuj Das was so absorbed in Srinathji. What you see Srinathji now in Nathdwara, Udaipur, previously it was in the top of the Govardhan hill. That is another story, that this deity was originally attained by Madhavendra Puri, and later it transformed to Pushti Marg. Now they are claiming that their deity. Actually, Srinathji's origin is in Gaudiya Sampradaya, that is by Madhavendra Puri. Gopal deity, you remember? And later something happened, and eventually Raghunath Das Goswami entrusted that service to Vithalnathji, because they are contemporary. And since then it became very famous, Srinath Vigraha, and it eventually went to Nathdwara. So that time it was in Govardhan. So this devotee Chaturbhuj Das, he said, Guru Maharaj is asking me to come, so I should go. If I don't go, then it will be disobeying the spiritual master. But he did not want to leave Govardhan Dham. He was so attached to Govardhan and Srinathji. So, to follow the order of the spiritual master Vithalnath, somehow he went. But just at the boundary, the Sima, the threshold of Govardhan, after the Govardhan area, it ends. At that moment, while he was going with his spiritual master, Guru Maharaj, Chaturbhuj Das fainted and fell down on that place. Because his heart was there in Srinathji, his heart was in Govardhan. By force he was going to visit Dwarkadish with his spiritual master. When he just touched this boundary of Govardhan Dham, he could not control himself and he fainted. He fell down there. And Vithalnathji looked behind. He saw that, hey, what happened to this devotee? And he just fainted. And somehow he woke up and he said, my dear Guru Maharaj, please forgive me. I cannot go beyond this. I cannot go beyond this. If I go, I cannot sustain myself. My life here will go. And Vithalnath became very surprised to see, my God, I am his Guru and he is my disciple. He has so deep attachment towards Govardhan. He has so deep attachment towards Srinathji that as soon as he crossed the boundary, he even could not, and he fainted. And at that moment, Chaturbhuj Das, he wrote a poem in Braj Bhasha. So, one line I will tell you what he says in his poem. दर्शन को नैना तपे, वचन सुनन को कान, मिलवे को हियरा तपे, हिय की जीवन प्राण, गोवर्धन वासी सांवरे, गोवर्धन वासी सांवरे, तुम बिन रहो न जाए रे, गोवर्धन वासी सांवरे. He says, darshan ko naina tape. My eyes are waiting to behold the beauty of Srinathji. Darshan ko naina tape, vachan sunan ko kaan. Just to hear the sweet flute sound of Srinathji, my ears are eagerly waiting. Darshan ko naina tape, vachan sunan ko kaan. Milve ko hiera tape. My heart is anxiously waiting to meet Srinathji. Hiya ki jeevan pran, because he is the life and soul of my heart. Who? Govardhan vasi saamre, tum bin rahiyo na jaye. O Srinathji, O Govardhan vasi saamre, without you, I just cannot live. This is called raga. Stay Gadha Trishna. Deep attachment and deep absorption. So, when we hear such pastimes, when we hear such narrations, our consciousness gets evolved and we also develop a tinge of desire. How it awakens, the practical application we will see tomorrow. How Raganuga Bhakti, a devotee, practice and how it develops, how it awakens. What are the characteristics that we will see tomorrow? But at least today we can make up our mind. The base is like this. From this example, that without seeing, without hearing, without testing, someone just cannot leave, and that is called raga. Hare Krishna. So today we heard raga and ragatmika. Ragatmika is it is exclusively for the Brajavasis. And we, the living entities, we the Tatastha Jiva Shakti, we can just follow in the footsteps of those Brajavasis. Then we will be called as Raga Nuga. Hari Hari, Srilaprabhupada ki, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande. So tomorrow morning we'll meet.
Question? Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Devotees who have question can ask, and other devotees can. The prasadam or prasadam is being served there for other devotees.
So, Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti will lead to Raganuga Bhakti, or
Yes, sir.
will Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti graduate one to Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti, or will Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti graduate one directly to Bhava Bhakti also?
Very good question. So, today we'll discuss or tomorrow? Today we want to listen or tomorrow we'll start
Big
with...
answer tomorrow, small answer now.
It's a very wonderful question. We'll start with this discussion. Very brilliant question, and we all have to understand how it develops from Vaidhi to Raganuga, or whether one can achieve the destination just by practicing Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, and what is the destination, and what is the junction from Vaidhi to Raganuga. We'll discuss through it. It will take some time.
Yeah, okay.
Detail.
In that only then, so I'll tell you now so we can discuss more. So, if Raganuga Bhakti is the spontaneous attraction defined by our acharyas for following the Ragatmika Bhaktas, what about the spontaneous devotion of devotees and personalities, Prahlada, Hanuman? What is the technical term given for them? And what is their spontaneous devotion called in Bhava Bhakti and Prema Bhakti? Because they did not come through Raganuga Bhakti probably. They came from what process like that, to that stage of Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti?
So everything will be
Addressed tomorrow.
addressed in that related to the same question. Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, these transcendental associates, and then Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti will definitely address tomorrow. I got your question. Okay, all of you please come and please try to understand the deep science of Bhakti. Then only we can have some attraction or love or greed or covetous towards the goal. Hari Hari, Srila Prabhupada ki.
No, one more just in case.
Yes. Yeah, you
Think
can.
about. So we learned today that we do sinful activities by accident, we are protected. But most of us in a profession are doing sinful activities knowingly. What
Yeah.
is the pariyaya?
Yeah, that's actually our sadhana bhakti we do, therefore, with anartha and with aparadas. We all agree. We do some aparada and at the same time we never leave the practice. We continue practicing bhakti. So therefore, it happens sometimes, as you said, that it happens sometimes. Seventh offense also happen, first offense also happen. Second, but still we are practicing bhakti. Therefore, I said that we'll never leave the process. The process itself will purify us. And when we again and again hear, then we will take precautions. We'll not do the aparadas. Sadhyam, right? You remember? Sadhyam. So that is the key point. Hare Krishna.